Hey, fellow traveler, welcome to your reading. We're going to skip most of the intro today because I've kind of gotten sick of the intro, and I think it's better just to jump right in. But I will remind everybody to keep in mind that these are broad readings, so if you feel a strong connection to any theme or idea during the readings, bring it along with you on your journey, and if not, let it float on by. We're going to draw 4 cards, and each card is going to represent a pile of cards for each reading, so there will be 4 readings today. Feel free to listen to one or all of the readings because the choice to explore is always up to you. Okay, so let's get right into it and reveal these cards. For reading number 1, we have Sleepless Nights, a mind that can't be turned off. We have 9 of Swords. Almost at the end of an idea, though. Almost at the completion of an idea. Okay, we have, for reading number 2, the Wheel of Fortune. So, how fortune comes and fortune goes. If you're feeling down, remember this too shall pass. In reading number 3, we have the Empress. Ooh, look at that. Bountiful creativity, a creatrix, a source of new, a connection to nature. And finally, for reading number 4, we're going to have the Knight of Pentacles. Knowing how to protect one's energy, one's resources. Okay. So I'll give you a moment to choose your reading based on these cards, and then we'll get into it with reading number 1. Please keep in mind that this is a brand new channel, so any comments are greatly welcome. I would love to chat with you. Tell me how you resonate with these readings, or subscribe to the channel because that helps this channel grow and reach new viewers, and it lets me see you again in the future. Okay, let's go with reading number 1 now. See you in a second. Hey, group number 1, pile number 1, you chose the 9 of Swords. Perhaps you're having trouble sleeping, or you just have an overactive mind right now, remembering past situations, maybe perhaps embarrassing things you said at one time when you put your foot in your mouth, or perhaps you have an idea that you just can't let go of and it's keeping you up at night. There's lots of different aspects to this card, but it is one of an overactive mind. But it is the 9th card, so it's very close to a completion of an idea. Swords often have the most challenging symbols on the cards, but they are representative of thought, of intellect, of the mind. So thought process is the main theme here, and one where the mind is racing in many ways. So if that's how you feel right now, then this is probably the pile for you with that theme. So we're going to draw 5 cards to begin with, and we're just going to go from there. I hope you're doing well, pile number 1. How are you doing? Do you have something on your mind right now? Okay. That's good. We're good. We'll just draw 5. We'll keep it simple here. No need to make things too complicated right now, I think. All right, the current position of thought, we have 10 of Pentacles. So the concept of stability, of safety, of security is on your mind. In the past, we have some form of conflict of thought. You had some conflicting ideas, perhaps, that you were dealing with. And farther in the past, something that you were holding on to, clinging on to in some way, an idea perhaps, or perhaps a memory of a relationship, or perhaps somebody that you talk to online that you are having trouble letting go of. This could be, looking at an ex's profile, or it could be just kind of scrolling, looking for something, some kind of love you want to relive in some way. Perhaps there's something you were at one time made you feel very, very whole and warm and at peace, and you're kind of searching for that in a way. This card specifically in this deck, I envision as kind of holding close to a phone, because the woman in this image is kind of curled up, perhaps on bed, just looking at her phone. See how the pentacle itself is lighting up her face. It's kind of like when you're on a phone at night and you just can't sleep. So these actually go together really well, at least thematically. Perhaps not idealistically. Okay. So moving forward, we have the moon. Wow, look at this sleepless night theme we got going on. The moon. Okay. So something is just unknown right now. There is a path forward, but it just doesn't seem to have revealed itself. But if you focus intuitively, you can follow the path without actually seeing it. It's like one of those things where if you close your eyes and you just kind of feel your way, you'll find your way much more easily than if you try to focus on sight, try to look ahead. This is one of those follow your gut feelings, but also one of those situations where you have to be mindful that the unconscious is an aspect of your actions and your life. Those things that happen kind of automatically are sometimes something worthy of investigating and observing and being more aware of. Okay. Leading to, well, this is nice to see at the end, a more joyful, thoughtful expression of ideas. One that's a little playful, even. You have the Page of Cups here. The Page is kind of like a princess character. She's got that energy where she's ready to explore the world. You know, she's looking out into the ocean, the boundless ocean. That like sense of exploration and adventure is on her mind, but also she's kind of ready to play around. She puts a fish in a cup. She's just playing. It's a nice energy, one where you can kind of joke about and you can poke fun at friends, and there's a feeling of safety there where everyone's got, it's all lighthearted. It's very lighthearted. So a movement towards a lighthearted nature through some form of unknown or intuitive path. But the mind right now is focused on stability and safety and seeking comfort in many ways. So that's a very interesting path right now in the mind. Let's continue and clarify these cards a little bit. Do you feel safe right now, or are you seeking safety? I guess is a question I would ask you. We draw from the middle sometimes when they stick out like that. Okay. So clarifying the now, right now, clarifying the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Chariot. So sense of movement. You might be in an active situation right now, one where you are combining different ideas or different elements. Perhaps you are partnered with somebody and you're going on a road trip, or perhaps you're in a group. I mean, this feels way more relationship oriented right now, but if this is work related, perhaps you have a good partner that you're working with on a project. This could be something where you feel things are moving forward. There is at least a sense of progression. This is a combination of the above and the below, the within and without, to move forward in a way. And in fact, with the moon, this is actually beautifully organized here, moving upwards. You have this concept of movement towards an idea that might be more intuitive in nature, but still brings results and progress. Okay, and then in the past, clarifying the Five of Wands, we have Queen of Cups. So there was something to do with emotional nurturing that you were having trouble working through in thought. Perhaps you were unsure of what you were doing being the right path for you, and something felt off about it. And perhaps this is something where you were just not sure about the mindset that you had about what you were doing, or it could be you changed something about what you were doing to more align with your thoughts and how you felt things should be working out. Okay, so moving a little bit farther in the past. So interestingly enough, we have the Tower clarifying Four of Pentacles. So you were clinging on to something that seemed to have shattered. Okay, that's the symbols here. You have a shock, a revelation. Some form of unstable ground has fallen out beneath the feet of something that was established. We have the tower built on an unstable mountain, right? The ground is unstable, and then the tower itself collapses due to something that reveals the false stability underlying this built up tower. That's the concept of the tower. And then we have Four of Pentacles, which is traditionally more clinging to money, holding on to money, being frugal, but in this case could also be holding on to energy, holding on to an idea, not letting go of something. And sometimes that's good. It means you're being frugal. It means you're being responsible with your resources. In other times, It can be you're not letting go of the past. So this is an interesting thing where you might not have wanted to accept this new revelation at the time. But now you had to nurture yourself. You had to nurture your own emotions, even though you were conflicted in ideas. Okay? But this has led to action with a mindset of stability, of safety, of comfort in mind. Interesting. Moving forward, we have... Okay, the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is one of having worked through a lot of different things. Really having put in the effort and really put in the responsibility, taking on responsibility of one's actions, and having realized a lot of life lessons along the way. This makes sense, especially after having traveled or having moved in some way. This could be travel, this could be vacation, but this could also be progressing quickly in an endeavor of some sort. So, accomplishing or reaching out to something that you want to have or accomplish. So a goal in mind, moving quickly towards that goal. And then here we have the life lessons that came with it. Okay, so the life lessons that came with this. This is a good card, although it does look a little bit burdensome, because life lessons can often be rather burdensome. But what they do involve here is integrating these life lessons into oneself, especially with the moon. So the moon is one of intuitively understanding where you move forward to without understanding it fully conceptually. And here we have all these life lessons that can be internalized and brought into the oneself and then becomes oneself. So you don't even have to think about it in terms of all articulating every exact reason for why you act in a certain way. It becomes second nature over time. But right now it might feel burdensome, or at least it might feel burdensome soon. But that's a good thing, because you are now more responsible, more mature person, more capable even, okay? And clarifying the Page of Cups, we have the beautiful sun. You want to see this. This is princess energy, queen energy, embodied in a much more broad, happy moment. Look at this. Like, this is the source of warmth, the source of happiness. You ever just go outside and just soak in the sun and you feel better and calm and more relaxed later? That's what this is all about. I mean, the sun is the heart of all life, because without the sun, nothing can really survive, right? So this is the source, right? This is a symbolic representation of the source of life. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but it can be the source of light within oneself. You're going to be warm and happy and really confident moving forward if you can find that light-hearted nature in your thought through some intuitive pathways, intuitive understanding of the world. Okay. Well, that's a beautiful movement, going from the tower all the way to the sun. You love to see it with the chariot in between. Very beautiful, very high energy cards here. You also have the queen and the tens, high numbers, a lot of major arcana cards here. So we have the tower, the chariot, into the sun. Beautiful. The challenge might be, in some ways, internalizing these thoughts of responsibility rather than articulating it and feeling resentful. I have all these things I have to do for other people. Think about how you are a source of reliability for those people. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, talk about some energy here. Okay. So we'll put these out here. Interesting. The devil is very much aligned in this column, so we kept it here. And also, the Queen of Cups is very much aligned with the well. Cup and a well. The well is a symbol of creativity, a symbol of abundance. You are nurturing a symbol, a healing nature for yourself. One where you were a little bit more in tune with your emotions consciously, so that you could, but that was coming from a wellspring of healing water in some ways, coming from within yourself, healing water from within yourself, in order to cool off the shock of this of this past event that was hard to let go of mentally, and intuitively came from a sense of kind of rejecting yourself in some ways. With the devil in this position, you're kind of rejecting your own internal nature for a sense of repetitive blockage, not allowing you to move forward. There's a block here, but that broke with the tower. Okay, so we're moving forward and we're nurturing ourselves now, or we had been nurturing ourselves, even though we were conflicted mentally. Choosing a path of movement with the concept and vision that the lighthouse of this moment right now is safety and stability, of abundance, but also really security and comfort. Interesting. Okay. And you know what? That's going to go here too. Makes quite a bit of sense. We have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is one of movement, falling out. These cards are just falling out in the subconscious. I mean, that's kind of what we're dealing with the moon. We're following our intuitive senses rather than the conscious rule sets that we normally apply to ourselves. So in this case, we have the Eight of Wands and the Chariot movement. So there's some form of movement away. Perhaps it's not necessarily that you are leaving a sense of security. It's that you're trying to find your own feeling of security, your own, the kind of security you really want. You might be feeling bound in something that isn't what you want in that case. So you're trying to find that ideal version of safety and security that you want. Okay. A lot of movement. So your mind's moving here. Makes sense. You have a racing mind at this time, and you have these horses and the chariot. The chariot's the sense of movement. And that card absolutely was coming out. Okay. And this one. Okay. So, clarifying in the subconscious, we have the Moon and Ten of Wands. And we have the Queen of Pentacles. So nurturing a sense of, this is nurturing of emotions. This is nurturing of resources. Can be nurturing of your own finances. Could be asking for a raise, or could be saying you deserve more. That's really what in this place would be. You deserve more. In some ways that could align with the Ten of Wands, where if you're working really hard in a workplace or in a relationship and something feels missing, or there's something not yet seen, you feel that there's internally you need to nurture a sense of there needs to be more in this situation, right? Okay, interesting. And moving forward, we clarify the Page of Cups and the Sun with, okay, the Five of Pentacles. Again, you want more. Interesting. Something is missing, and the moon is leading you to feel intuitively a sense of drive towards finding more for yourself in terms of stability. We're going to clarify this card, because it's interesting how there's so much movement towards warmth on the surface, but there's something else that you need. Okay, we got two cards here. Okay, so we have Ace of Wands and we have Six of Pentacles. So some form of giving. Maybe you need to feel that you're giving to somebody and that they're receiving it in a way that you feel is what you were hoping for, that it was appreciated and loved and desired just as much as you wanted to give it. That is an interesting thing involving the creative spark, a spark of creativity and drive and motivation, a drive to donate, a drive to give or to bestow. This can be knowledge, money, resources, love, giving, a giving nature, okay? And that was to clarify the Five of Pentacles. Okay, well, I think you're going to find that situation where what you're giving and what you want to bestow on somebody else, what you want to offer to others, is going to be accepted graciously and with gratitude and love. I hope the best for you, group number 1, and I hope you can get some good night's rest tomorrow night or tonight. Okay. I wish you best. Take care. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the Wheel of Fortune. The turning of time, when it rains, it pours. This too shall pass. Energy, the sense that, there are moments in life that will feel slow, and then there will be moments that feel fast. There will be moments that feel empty, and then there will be moments that feel full. And this comes and goes within everybody. This is just the cycle of nature in many ways. The way that we all kind of go through cycles at different points in time. But we all kind of experience this sense of fortune and lack thereof. It's one of those things that just happens, right? And it's kind of that contrast that allows us to appreciate the good times. Okay. How are you doing today, group number 2? I hope you're doing well. We're just going to draw 5 cards to begin with. Okay, so in the current position of your mind, you have the Page of Swords, a sword in the mind, okay? A sense that you might be feeling like there's an idea that you finally kind of grasp. You finally grasp this idea, and you want to take it out into the world. You want to bring it to somebody, or you want to talk about it with somebody, or you want to live it out based on the concept itself. Okay, you might have recently seen friends or loved ones, some kind of reunion perhaps in the past, was there? And Queen of Wands to begin this mental journey we have here. So there is some sense of passion, some sense of drive, some sense of real maybe competitive nature in some ways that was being nurtured in your mind. That led to a meeting of friends. Maybe you wanted to go out with friends and you wanted to have a good time because you saw oh, my phone just buzzed. Let's turn that off so that doesn't bother anybody. Okay, interesting. Friends, and then the phone buzzed. Well, whatever it is, perhaps somebody told you something while you were with them. Somebody gave you some confidence or something that motivated you. It might not have been intentionally even. They might have just said something that spurred you on, gave you that sense that, like, you know what, I'm going to prove that I can do this, and I'm going to do it on my own. Here's my idea, and I'm going to take it with me. And you're kind of charging forward a little bit. But it might be a fits and starts situation. Okay. Leading to, in the future position, the 9 of Wands, which is a sense of weariness, of having put in a lot of effort, of tried very hard and kind of going, well, when is this going to finally come forward, and when is this going to become something that I was hoping for? When are you going to get that result that you were looking for? When is this onslaught going to end? When, might be a grind at work, might be a relationship thing that just isn't, it's like moving, but it's just not clicking. There isn't that spark yet that you were hoping for, that kind of thing. Leading to, kind of going back to really refine your idea, okay? So to refine this concept, whatever this is, needs to be refined, needs to be reviewed, and kind of meticulously reworked so that it can be perfected. Okay. Let's clarify these ideas with 5 more cards. Do you have a new idea right now that you're trying to prove? Group number 2? Are you trying to prove something to yourself or maybe to others? Are you just trying to feel like you're going to have what you've been looking for? Like you're looking for something and you just want to say, hey, I deserve this too. I wanted this too. Like maybe somebody said, oh, you don't want that. And you're like, actually, I do. And that kind of spurred you on. Something like that. Okay. Tower. Something shocking. Right now. Right now. Interesting. Which was led to through kind of contemplating something that was said. You have the Page of Pentacles is a new idea about energy, or like a new understanding of how to command energy. And it's one of those things where it's, you have the Page of Swords, which is like commanding of a new idea. And here we are, when I say command, I mean kind of like handling for the first time. The Page of Pentacles is more pensive, more like pondering. Meanwhile, the Page of Swords is more like, I'm going to throw this out there. Some form of commitment in the past. You committed to something in the past, but you were rethinking it, which led to some kind of revelation recently, if not right now, if not today. What's something that shocked you or came out of nowhere to you recently, maybe in the past few days, or maybe just now? Well, all of this commitment, thinking, shock, leads to letting go. Interesting. Okay, so we have the Three of Wands, a sense of letting go of energy and allowing it to go off on its own. It's like if you love, kind of the love, let go paradigm, where you have to let go of love in order for it to come back to you. Okay. And then we have this meticulous reworking of ideas being clarified by a sense of disappointment, but with a silver lining. We have Five of Cups, where 3 of the cups have fallen, but there's still 2 cups behind. And that's something to remember when you feel like you're not enough, because that's a feeling that we all get sometimes. Remember that moment is an opportunity to reflect on what you can be grateful for, what you do have. And it would actually lead you to a path towards really growing, because if you wanted something so bad that you feel so terrible about yourself for not being able to achieve it, that's just not something that you can dwell on much longer, because it just wasn't the path. That might sting for sure, but in many ways, it's actually a giant beacon pointing you in the other direction, going, hey, look at those 2 cups. What are you really good at? What can you become this beautiful spotlight of a person about? Like, where can you put your fire and your energy, your light? Where can you put your love? Because that's where you're going to grow something even more wonderful than anything you would have thought through this first idea, okay? Because that first idea was not reflecting back on you. And because of that, it wasn't worth your time, okay? Or it was worth your time only so much so that you knew it wasn't your path. If that path is closed, well, good riddance. There's many other paths, okay? Remember that. This can be, hey, you didn't get into a school. Hey, you didn't get the job. Hey, maybe this person isn't responding to your texts. Well, guess what? Somebody else will. Some other job will hire you. Some other school will accept you. And someone else will love you. And that person isn't any less than the person you wanted initially. Okay? Remember that. Okay. Page of Swords. The Tower. Well, 7 of Wands. So you were standing your ground in some way. Perhaps you needed to. Facing something that shocked you. There was a new path for you intuitively. An intuitive new start for you. Yeah, there was something hidden. Interesting. So in the past, there was something hidden. You were committed to something. You were nurturing in your mind an idea of passion and drive and a lot of competitive. I get a sense of competition here. Like you were hoping to win something. And you were committed to winning it. But there's something hidden. This wasn't the right way to do it. Okay. Now, after some thought, after having talked to somebody or having talked to friends perhaps, or hearing someone's advice, you started to rethink the situation. And internally, intuitively, you realize you had already started a new path. There's already a new path going on. And that led to the kind of breakthrough moment, which is you right now. You're having a breakthrough right now. And your underlying sensation, your underlying intuitive nature is kind of holding its ground while your intellect is kind of going, no, we're going to move forward with this new idea. So this is kind of an interesting conflict that can happen sometimes within habitual nature, the more underlying notion of oneself, being challenged by the intellectual concepts that are coming in from the top down. This can lead to a shocking moment of revelation, because you might realize something about yourself by the way that you're pushing back against, you're reflectively pushing back against something. You might be reacting very strongly in opposition to something, and that actually might be shocking you. That you're like, wow, wait, like I just felt a really gut reaction, strong reaction against something that I just felt, that I was just thinking about, that I was just trying to understand. Why is there such a gut response to that? I'm going to say something about like the first thing you see is not always the best. Okay, lovers. Lovers. Interesting. Lovers. You're falling in love with something. With someone, maybe. And celebration. Internal celebration. It seems like your gut, your intuition is winning out in this tug of war here. In some ways you might be feeling kind of fatigued mentally, where like intellectually you can't really you can't convince your heart to change. I guess that's what's happening here. And you're kind of just letting go. You're just on the surface, you're just letting go. You're kind of going, hey, this is disappointing. I'm going, and you know what? That's fine. Maybe to find some peace and some celebration internally, and putting your mind back to a sense of getting back to the drawing boards, you might want to accept feeling the failure. Accept feeling, hey, it's okay to feel down if something didn't work out, right? It's okay to feel like a little defeated. It's okay to feel a little down, but don't ever let that cloud what comes next, okay? Because what comes next is going to be beautiful and bright. So don't let that dissuade you from trying something new or accepting a new path in your life. I mean, this is a strong sense of relationships in this reading, even though you have a lot of wands and a few pentacles. But like, was there any cups in here actually? Yeah, we have 3 of cups. Okay. And the lovers really does. And you have like this, the priestess, the high priestess. I do feel like this is relationship oriented a lot of the way. I mean, it could be career oriented as well, but the story here is one of lovers. And like, you can apply this to anything. Your love for your career, your love for the path you were wanting to take, your intellectual curiosities, but oftentimes it's your love for somebody else who loves you. A romantic love, right? Could be family, but this feels like perhaps there was some form of rejection in the past. But it could not be explicit. Maybe it's not explicit rejection. But then there's something else being offered that could be actually a better path, but you're going, no, I still want this. I still want what I wanted originally, And that's okay. But remember that what's coming into your life, that silver lining might be something worthwhile, might be even more. Because 2 full cups is better than 3 empty ones. You know what I mean? That's something I think should be thought through. Maybe on the surface it seems like you're giving up more to get something less. But you might not be actually seeing everything you're possibly getting with this new path. So, you might have seen everything from the old path and you're like, look at all of this. It's like, yeah, but if you go around the corner of this mountain, you'll see this entire valley. You know what I mean? There's this whole lush garden just around the corner, but you're not willing to go that step to look. I don't know, maybe you should. But you have to do it within your own time when you are ready. When you feel comfortable with it. When you feel like you are in the place where you can accept what's coming next. Because otherwise it won't be right. So, All right, group number 2, reading number 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like and subscribe so you can see more of me in the future. I wish you the best, and leave a comment to let us know. What is this new thing coming into your life? I'd love to hear about it. Okay, take care. Hey, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the Empress. Card of abundance, of creativity, of connection with nature, kind of giving birth to something new. Could even be a symbol of pregnancy for some people. Okay. It's a very powerful symbol with lots of meanings. I'm just going to draw 5 cards. Okay. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing very well. Okay, there we go. In the current position, we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, so we have some kind of intuitive decision-making process, being fully in command of making decisions, but through an kind of gut feeling, a sense of the heart, going by the heart. Okay, there's some movement. We have 8 of Wands, moving towards the sense of having command of one's decisions and of one's intellect. You think of your very strong thinking. This is thinking very, very in the correct way, but through an intuitive path, which makes sense with the Empress. Okay. And this started with, well, we have some very creatrix energy here. We have the well, the source, the upspringing of ideas, the upspringing of creativity, that kind of sense that if you have that idea that just kind of, they say lightning struck your brain, or, when you're in the shower and you just have that like shower thought where something just comes to you, or perhaps you had an idea that you were trying to figure out, that only really comes to you after you stop thinking about it. You're trying to remember something, and the only way to remember it is to stop trying. That's the kind of energy of the well. And combining it with the Empress, you have this upspringing of creativity. There's some real creative energy, this kind of, combining to like bring forth something blooming. There's a blooming of something here, which leads to real confidence in what you're doing. Okay. This is followed by the Devil. So don't let distractions come in your way of what you're trying to accomplish. This is almost the devil's advocate in this position. This is like, what am I? This is self-doubt. That's exactly what this is right here. And that's going to block you, or at least challenge you, not block you, but challenge you in order for you to get through this block to get to the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, well, we have the Queen of Pentacles here, which is an interesting movement from Queen of Swords to Queen of Pentacles, one of nurturing one's energy and nurturing where one puts their wealth or their well-being. This is stability through, physical means or material means, not physical, material means. Physical would be more wands with like exercise and stuff like that, but this is nurturing one's bank account, but nurturing one's ability to see farther and farther into the future by having everything they need for the now. And that can be through wealth, that can be through material possessions, and that can also be through time and focus. Okay. Look at this. This is in a blocking position. It's kind of fascinating. This is the guardian of the threshold, stopping you from reaching your full potential. But you're not going to let it, because you're reaching the Queen of Pentacles through your Queen of Swords energy, through your confidence in the decisions you make, because intuitively you know they're the right ones. Okay. Let's do a little bit more clarifying here. Okay. All right. So, clarifying Queen of Swords. In the current position, we have the Ace of Cups. So you're just having all sorts of new emotions right now. There's a new emotion right now. Brand new. New love, new passion, new idea. but all tied to the heart, a new emotion, new connection. In the past, there's a lot of movement in your mind, a lot of thinking of new ideas and moving from one to the other. And you were really surveying what you needed to do in life. You were surveying. You were looking over life. Because we have the Two of Wands here. Two of Wands, the sense of decision, a decision to be made, but made through kind of mapping out the landscape, okay? And interestingly enough, we have another ace on this. There is a new means of wealth or energy. A wellspring of new ideas, a new means of making money. A new means of making money, a new wellspring of ideas. There's this like real creative drive here. There's a lot of movement, a lot of new coming in. Leading to queens, it's kind of interesting. Queens and Empress, very feminine energy. Intuitive, creative, in tune energy. Okay. And strength. You're going to be strong. There's going to be a self-doubt moment, but you're going to be committed and you're going to be strong because we have strength clarifying the devil. But strength is in the physical plane position, in where you are. So you're going to be strong. You're going to hold still and stick to what you're trying to do because right now you know right now is the right path. We have this plane overhead right now, so we'll take a moment, but committing to the action despite self-doubt will lead you forward. Okay. All right, but there might be some heartbreak in the future, some kind of sadness. Interesting. Perhaps these should have been flipped, but that's okay. You know, honestly, this kind of thing happens sometimes. It could be just kind of the cycles of life. There just could be a moment of sadness, but that's okay. We're going to clarify that. We have the Three of Swords, clarifying the Queen of Pentacles. Your mind's going to be in the right place. Your heart's going to be hurting a little. Why is that? What was this bump in the road here? Okay. Okay. And this one seems to want to be there too. So, clarifying Queen of Swords and Ace of Cups, we have the Emperor. Well, look at this. We have the Empress and the Emperor. Someone's on your mind. The Emperor, commanding energy, strong energy. And we have the Three of Wands with the Two of Wands, interestingly enough. So surveying the land and realizing what you need to let go of and where you need to move forward is perhaps not the same direction. And, okay, this was from the last reading, but this is now down here. There was a sense that, like, quite a lot of work was being put in internally in your life. You were thinking a lot. You were trusting your gut. You were putting a lot of effort into you're leaning heavily on your intuition for a while. And that's good. It strengthens it. But man, there's just a feeling where like the results just haven't come in yet. That's the sense. That's what was happening in the past. But now you have this, you are definitely like in some form of communication, either internally with yourself or with somebody else, a very commanding energy. That might be an issue. Okay, so we have some movement here, strength and movement. Your gut is going to be, I keep saying your gut, your intuition is going to be really active in the future. And then we have the Star, so healing. Interesting. You know, maybe something might be tempting you. Someone might be tempting you. You stay strong. You're going to feel a little bit like, oh, I wish I could still go do that. I wish I could come back to that person, or I wish I could go see these people, but I just know in my healing journey, it's just not right. And it could feel a little heartbreaking to have to say no to somebody. Now, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's kind of like you're like, oh, I want to say yes, but I have to say no. For myself, for my sense of well-being. that's a strong position. You're actually embodying what might be you see in somebody else. You might be embodying it within yourself in order to protect yourself to heal. This is a very strong reading, creative reading. You have a creative means about you, and that might be how you move forward. Is thinking of a creative solution to this. It's kind of like creatively saying no. One of the hardest things is to say no for many people. And this is one of those times where saying no might be able to be said without the word itself. You might be able to ask questions to kind of lead the person to understand this is not going to happen. You don't have to say explicitly, no way. You can say, hey, well, why are you asking it like that? Or what do you mean by that? What do you expect to happen if we were to do this? That kind of thing. Because then that gives you an opportunity to give them the understanding without the sharpness of an explicit, no way, Jose. Okay. So, that's fascinating. This is a fascinating story. I'm not going to reveal this yet. Let's just kind of go back over it. We have this kind of empress, a lot of intellectual energy. There's this sharp temptation, perhaps, to do something differently from what you know is the right path. But you circumvent that, in two different ways. You feel like you know that you're going to experience this feeling of kind of missing out, perhaps a slight loss of opportunity, but it could be kind of a missing out, a FOMO, fear of missing out situation. But your mind and your intuition, your sense of your subconscious, both your intellect and your self-conscious, are going to deflect that direction. You're going to burden that sense in the body for a moment so that you can continue on your healing path in both a spiritual and intellectual way. It's an interesting thing where it's an intellectual temptation, but it's going to be denied in some way. You're going to say, no, I'm too strong for this. I know where I'm going. I'm going to channel both my energies. Making a good decision normally means you've aligned almost all elements of yourself, where you think about it in different ways, and in every way you can say, yes, this works for me. And if you have this thing where some parts of you want something or want you to do something, and other parts of you are just going red alert, absolutely not, this is not happening, red flags, back away slowly, ain't happening, and you might start to find resistance. And this can be done in many different ways with the self. The self can oftentimes block what you were doing and make you say something silly or something just to stop you from going down the path that only part of you wants. Well, this is one of those times where you need to reflect on what part of you, where can all of your elements of self align? Because that's the path forward here. If there's this kind of part of you that wants to go in some other direction, no. Move forward with the beautiful alignment. We're not even going to go there. Okay, so we have some friendship situations here. We're revealing 3 of Cups. This could be, hey, people asking you to go out, and you're like, oh, I might want to, but you realize it's just not the right thing to do. Or it could be your friends are asking you out, and you're saying, oh man, I just want to stay in. For what reason? Is it so that you can scroll online? Maybe it's 2 ways. It depends on who you are. But really, you need to know, is this good influence, or is this not the right influence? And you'll know for sure. And if that's your choice, then you know to go a different direction. But if this is your choice, you know to go that direction. Okay? That's what you want to go with. This kind of 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is a tricky card. It is one of, it can be on the surface very joyful. It can be underneath a little bit more complex. And that's where these decisions can go. I want to say you have almost 3 choices here. And you'll know which one to go with because it will be the one that leads to you being a strong person and one of growth, one of like command, embodying the Empress and the Emperor energy, or at least having both in your life, having the Empress energy in your life and having the Emperor in your life. So, group number 3, I hope this reading has been well, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment to let us know, where was that Emperor energy for you? Where did you find strength? I would love to hear more about it in the comments. And if you would like to see more of me in the future, subscribe to this channel. Okay. Take care. Bye. Hey, pile number 4, welcome to your reading. You chose Knight of Pentacles. Okay. So, kind of protective energy, a little bit more of a defensive stance. Okay, we got some cards flying out there. That's interesting. Always fun to see that kind of drama. Let's see what we got. 2. We'll put them on either side of the present moment in the mind. Okay. How are you doing today? Group number 4. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Okay. We have, in the current position, feeling of being trapped. Okay, interesting. So we have the 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords in the current mental position, which is never surprising. It's never surprising to see swords up at the top. But this is one of feeling somewhat trapped in a situation. But remember, you are never fully trapped in this situation. Okay. 8 of Swords, the figure is not fully bound, is not fully surrounded, is not fully enclosed, and is not fully blinded. Anything can be pulled off at any moment. Okay. The artist. You might be thinking, perhaps you have been drawing lately, or maybe you were writing, or being a little creative. Have you been daydreaming a lot lately? Group number 4. And Judgment. So a sense of release. A real sense of release here recently, which led you to think a little creatively, but you feel bound somehow. Why do you feel bound? What do you feel trapped in? Okay. In the future, there's going to be a commitment to moving forward. Some form of commitment towards a journey or towards movement across some barrier. Okay. And finally, we have the 7 of Cups. So choices to be made. Some major choices to be made, and making the choice that should be most truthful to yourself. You see, this figure has a choice to remove the mask from themselves and go for what they actually want. Okay? Because continuing to go for something that they think other people want you to want is not going to lead out to the right path. Okay. You're trapped, feeling of trapped. What do you feel trapped in right now, group number 1? Or group number 4, sorry, why did I say 1? Interesting, why did I say 1? Perhaps you want to watch group number 1's. Okay. Reading. Perhaps you want to read group number 1's reading. I don't know, that normally doesn't pop out like that for me. This is group number 4. We're going to clarify these cards in a moment. But let's dwell on this Judgment into 8 of Swords a little bit. It's kind of an interesting story here. So the sense of like a real rapturous release, something where, that could be that sensation of you listen to that song, but this is something bigger than that. This is like something really made you realize this is something that needs to be done, or this is finally at that moment of release. And like that's something that led you to be more creative, but you're feeling trapped somehow. And it's in a defensive position. Perhaps it's money related. Okay, interestingly enough, we have the Hanged Man. Hanged Man likes to pop out with this card, I've noticed, at least lately. And it makes sense. You are stagnant, not moving. The figure here has a rope wrapped around their foot, and they're hanging on a tree branch. But the choice for both of these figures, both of these people, the man and the woman here, they can free themselves just by letting go. The man can let go, and the woman can just spread her arms and expand, and those ropes will fall right off of her. And she'll be able to take off the blindfold and realize these dangers surrounding her are only in her past, are only behind her. Meanwhile, the man is holding on to this rope that's actually binding him and is keeping him from freeing himself because he's afraid of the fall, but all he has to do is let go and know he'll be okay. Interesting. We have the moon, so some sleepless nights perhaps, some romantic conversations maybe even. Wow, look at this. Ooh, this is a powerful situation here. We have the Tower and Judgment. I mean, this is almost like a mythological boom of the thunder, the lightning strikes, and like everything's revealed for itself. There's a release. This could be an argument where people reveal what they've always been feeling for years. This could be a situation where someone's admitted their love that they've felt for somebody for years or months. They've loved this person for so long, and they finally I'm going to just release it. I'm going to take that mask off and just say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want. And that's leading to some kind of really interesting creative moments of intuition, driving creativity, but then stagnancy, something where there's something blocking a full realization of this what was a very revelationary moment. Okay. Clarifying. Six of Swords, we have the Seven of Wands. So commitment in the mind and standing your ground right here in the now. Standing your ground, defending, and you know what makes sense? We have defense here. Defending your position. You are in the high ground here with the Seven of Wands. You are in the high ground. So defend yourself from the sense of a higher purpose, from the sense of doing what's best in general rather than the selfish aspects. Because the people who are fighting for their selfish nature will fall to anybody who has a more dignified, bright path forward that's best and kind for all. If you're coming into this from a perspective that this is the best situation in general, and I'm going to make sure I defend that, then you will have a much stronger defense when you are in this kind of conflict with someone. But this could also be not a direct conflict with other people, but this also could be just having so much work to do. So that's another aspect of this, commitment and work. The Wands is one of action. This could be exercising even, actually. This could be exercising. I for some reason I get like a commitment to a new, like perhaps like you feel like something's holding you back, and it could be that you want to just exercise more, get healthy, commit to a diet kind of thing. That's an interesting, these combined just popped in my mind there. Okay. The Hierophant. So a more traditional stance here. Choosing a more traditional path. Sometimes a more traditional path isn't always the wrong path, right? It can be the right one. I feel like there's a lot of movement towards non-traditional perspectives lately, but there can be tradition, or there can be good within a traditional perspective. There is a reason something's lasted as long as it has. Traditions last because there is something about it that's important. So how can we combine maybe you're doing a traditional diet, maybe it's something that's already established, maybe something like intermittent fasting or something like that. Something that people know about. It's not something, you're not trying it on your own, you're actually following the rules. I don't know why I go to diet and exercise. It just seems to pop in my mind for this reading. I almost never talk about that in these readings. For some reason, this one's just popped in my mind. It might be on your mind. Okay. Have you been thinking about that? Let's keep going. It's a very specific aspect of it. This could just mean standing your ground and not letting things distract you from your goals. Okay. The Hierophant could be you're seeking advice from somebody who has more knowledge in a specific area of life in order to make a decision that you are not sure about. Okay, movement again. We have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands have been popping up a lot today. And we have the Ten of Wands. Interesting. You're kind of unburdening yourself here. Something is being transitioned into the self so you can have a more lighthearted, or not lighthearted, but a more lightweight means of movement, of thinking. You're kind of streamlining your thought. Sleepless nights. Interesting. Your mind was erasing for sure when this happened. When this big crash happened, this clash, this thunderous moment. What was this? Please leave in the comments. I'd love to hear this thunderous moment for you. But it led to a sense of creativity, of intuition, of, lots of thoughts, lots of different, incorporating lots of life lessons that you had in the past to understand what to do next. And maybe that's what, it was just so much, it kind of froze you in place. But there are these people here that are not moving. Okay, we're getting some stuff from last readings now. We're getting Page of Cups. Okay, so a little bit more lighthearted. At least you might be, it's kind of like, you're winning an argument, so you're just going to start laughing. And I don't really like arguments so much, but like, maybe it's more like debate, or at least like when someone's kind of challenging you, not necessarily in a bad way, but in a, hey, we're going to challenge you a little bit. Like you kind of laugh back because you're like, hey, I got this. And there's a new path here. Okay, so a very new beginning is going to start to be within the wellspring of yourself. In the subconscious, you're transforming and you're becoming someone new. I want to say like you're almost like reforming yourself into somebody who has a lighthearted nature. But you're going to be asking for advice from people. You're going to actually dare to ask for advice, I guess I would say. This is an interesting defensive story. It's a story of like, when you have something this dramatic happening, you do kind of put your shield up and you kind of look around and you go, okay, what do I actually do about this? Maybe, I don't know why, but like I popped in like a friend revealing that they actually liked you for a while kind of situation. It's like kind of the element here. It could also be like, oh, you actually were being considered for a position this entire time you didn't even realize in your job. And all of a sudden, maybe your coworker or your boss comes up and says, hey, by the way, don't you know, you're actually up for this. You might actually get this. Or it could be an award at school. But right now I see love. I mean, love has been in all the readings. Relationships. Group number 2, I'd love to hear more about you. And group number 2, wow, why did I say 1, 2? I'm like all over the place with you guys. Okay, group number 4. I'd like to hear more from you about what it is that this was. What was this in the past? Because it's already happened. What was it? And where are you now? Why do you feel trapped? Let us know in the comments. Because I feel like this sense of being trapped is not something necessarily bad, but it's something that you would like to be reformed in some way. You would like it to be manifest itself in a different way. Okay. Group number 4, got it right this time. Thank you so much for watching. I wish the best for you in the future. Take care.